Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no. So who would love to talk about Disney's live-action Tangled? This guy, because I'm a huge fan of Tangled. I've been a huge fan of Tangled ever since 2010. In November of that year, I will never forget how Mandy Moore jumped onto the big screen as the voice of Rapunzel and brought this character to life in such a way that she did it with such passion and made her one of the most iconic Disney princesses of all time. Of course, we all remember the story of Rapunzel, which dates back hundreds of years, of how her father kept her locked away in a tower because she didn't want her to have anything to do with men. So to keep her away from men, he locked her away in a tower, and this became one of the most revered fairy tale characters of all time because of how the story was told. And now Disney, like they do all the time, turns this story around into a beautiful portrayal of how a princess wanted to discover the mystery behind the outside world and behind the fireflies, which was one of the most beautiful scenes that I remembered from the Tangled live action because it was so beautifully done. The song I Can See the Light was a part of that scene, and it was just brought to life in a way that I could never imagine a scene ever being brought to life for a Disney franchise. So I really am looking forward to the live action franchise for all these iconic scenes being brought to life in a way that had never been brought to life before. Hello once again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Jonathan Clarke. The latest episode of Jonathan Clarke Video Blogs has arrived, and on this show I would love to talk about Tangled with each and every one of you because I know there are a lot of people subscribed to this YouTube channel because they are a fan of Tangled, and because Disney princesses have always been a favorite topic of mine to discuss on this show, I think there's never been a better time than to talk about the live-action Tangled. Because the live-action Tangled has touched the hearts of so many people ever since news was first dropped on D23.com. And it makes me that much more excited for the foreseeable future. Because the conversation of who is going to play the live-action Rapunzel has seemed to become a revolving door, which means that people have come in and out of the conversation. Sabrina Carpenter, Dove Cameron, and more noticeably Ruby Rose Turner because of her passion and her desire to want to portray the character. I say this because Ruby Rose Turner has never been presented that much of an opportunity before. Until now. And I think the time is evident to make Ruby Rose Turner into a superstar, and playing the iconic role of Rapunzel could get the job done for Ruby and take her places that she's never been before. Now I know playing such an iconic princess goes with a lot of pressure and will come with a lot of pressure for Ruby Rose Turner, and she will see her fair share of criticism. But I want Ruby to know, and fans of Ruby, that I will forever be supportive of her, and I will take bullets for her against any critic that may pose a threat to Ruby Rose Turner's portrayal of the live-action Rapunzel if it comes into fruition. Because when you think of Rapunzel, you think of a character that's so kind, that just wanted to explore the outside world, that wanted her presence to be felt and to be known and to never be forgotten about. And I think that Ruby Rose Turner really fits the criteria of a live-action princess in a way that nobody else would have ever been portrayed as the live-action Rapunzel. I think Dove Cameron has always been in that conversation too, but I think Dove Cameron's heart has forever and always lied with the live-action Frozen when wanting to play Anna in the franchise. I also think she would go for a live-action Elsa too, but her heart has always and forever lied with wanting to play Anna because of her personality. So with Dove Cameron's heart lying elsewhere with Disney projects, I think that Ruby Rose Turner's time has never been more evident and more apparent than it is right now. And I think the fan support for Ruby playing the live-action Rapunzel, if you pay attention to social media, is really at an all-time high, because I'm not the only guy who is supporting Ruby Rose Turner to play this role. It's so iconic, it's so revered, and with Ruby Rose Turner's personality really fitting the criteria of Rapunzel and really being a perfect match, I think it's really a can't-miss opportunity with Ruby Rose Turner. I know that the conversation has always and forever revolved around Sabrina Carpenter, and if you ask Google, the first person that Google will suggest to play the live-action Rapunzel is forever and always Sabrina Carpenter. We all know where Google's loyalty lies. But even though Google's loyalty lies with Sabrina Carpenter's portrayal of the live-action Rapunzel because she's the niece of Nancy Cartwright, big whoop, I think that Ruby Rose Turner should be in this conversation and should remain a valuable part of the conversation for a very long time. And I'm here to do just that, to keep Ruby Rose Turner's hope and dreams alive of playing the iconic Rapunzel. Because a while ago during an interview during the PR for Descendants, Ruby Rose Turner was asked if she could play a Disney princess outside of the character she portrays now for Descendants, being Bridget, who would it be? And without even thinking, with the support of her friends Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker, she suggested that she wanted to play Rapunzel. And I became very supportive of that because I thought about Ruby's personality, I thought about how far Ruby had come in such a short amount of time, and I think never enough support can be shown to Ruby Rose Turner and never enough credit can be given to her for how far she's come and in support of her playing the live-action Rapunzel. I just think about that iconic dress that Rapunzel wore, that beautiful pink dress that she wore would fit perfectly on Ruby, and the color pink has always been associated with Ruby's characters over the years, as we got from Bridget in The Rise of Red back in 2024. And that, with how revered of a Descendants character Ruby Rose Turner became, I think she would be a perfect Rapunzel. Maybe I'm saying that because it has everything to do with how I have the biggest crush in the world on Ruby, but I think that because I've had the biggest crush in the world on Ruby, that has a lot to do with the support that I've thrown her way. And I will forever and always be supportive with Ruby against all the critics and all the criticism she may receive for this, because she's bound to receive criticism. You think about Snow White and Renee Zellweger's portrayal of Snow White, a lot of people didn't want anything to do with it, saying it was a movie that should have never happened, a live-action franchise that should just remained a beloved Disney classic ever since 1938. It was Disney's first major budget film. He invested over $1 million behind the original classic Snow White, and a lot of people believe this movie should have never been made. I was there for all the criticism, and perhaps I was the only guy on YouTube who uploaded the video with anything nice at all to say about the Snow White live action. Now, I know there were people out there that did say nice things about it, but at least 95% of the uploads that were put on YouTube didn't want to have anything to do with Snow White or reviewing it. So I think that with all the criticism Snow White received, and this upcoming Tangled live action being attempted for the first time ever, it's bound to receive its fair share of criticism on Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb.com. But that's why you guys have me, and you will forever and always have this YouTube channel to post great reviews of upcoming projects, everything Descendants and Zombies related, because you guys have been crying out and demanding a Descendants and Zombies podcast for a very long time. So because Ruby Rose Turner has everything to do with the portrayal of Rapunzel as of late, and all these rumors seem to be revolving around her, then I am fully supportive of that. Because when Ruby was first announced to be a part of the Descendants cast for The Rise of Red in 2024, oh, I was so excited. I was so honored to be in your guys' presence talking about Descendants, because it gave me a chance to talk more about Ruby than I ever had before. Because I remembered her on a show called Coop and Can't Ask the World, and thinking that show was a series and a song, really, that ended long before its time. Everything about the show was really Disney's answer to iCarly, and then came Bizaardvark to be Disney's answer to iCarly, but nothing really could ever measure up that Disney would create to compete against iCarly, because of its revered 6 seasons, and its almost 100 episodes that were dropped. iCarly and Miranda Cosgrove went down as one of the most iconic teen idols of all time, and one of the most popular kids' TV shows in history. So Disney was always trying to come up with a formula to kind of counteract that, and I really thought that Coop and Cammy Ask the World had a chance and really had become Disney's answer to all of this happening. But Disney, of course, closed the book on it before ever giving it a chance, and it was a series that ended long before its time. So I was waiting on more opportunities to come Ruby Rose Turner's way. And it was almost as if the producers knew that they were going to give Ruby Rose Turner more opportunities with the Descendants franchise, with Most Popular, which is receiving great reviews, by the way. I love the story behind that one. And I love how Ruby Rose Turner is still staying in the public eye and never shying away from PR. It's just, I really wish Ruby Rose Turner would post more Descendants content like all your favorite Descendants and Zombie stars have been doing, keeping us in the informative loop. Actually, before I recorded this podcast this evening, I saw Meg Donnelly with one of her latest TikTok videos thrown up on social accounts, and she looks absolutely fantastic. She looks happier than she's ever been before. I really think she's in a happy place in her life right now, and her heart's in the right place. So congratulations to Meg Donnelly for getting the Zombies franchise to the point it's at right now, in a position to really take over. It's number one on Disney Plus presently right now, with hundreds of hours of stream time. Thousands of hours of stream time, because the fans of Zombies never going away anytime soon, and really believing in a franchise that's really going to last for forever. Allow me to say this: Descendants of Zombies is a franchise that has a chance of lasting forever. We thought that about High School Musical many years ago, but boy, were we ever wrong. And now Descendants of Zombies comes from out of nowhere and captivates millions of people, tens of millions of people on social. Can't stop talking about Descendants of Zombies, and I likewise can't stop talking about Descendants of Zombies, so we fit perfectly together, and we become the best of friends because of Descendants of Zombies. So because the conversation now is revolving around opportunities outside of Descendants for Kylie and Ruby, and it revolves around Tangled, I couldn't be more excited, because I remember how iconic Mandy Moore's voice was as the character Rapunzel, and how she brought it to life. And it really stood out to me how she was so curious, how she was so unpredictable. We didn't know what she was going to do from one moment to the next. And I'm sure a lot of you think of yourself with the mood swings of Rapunzel that she experienced in that movie. I remember that iconic scene when Rapunzel just couldn't get her emotions right, and she was going all over the place, and her hormones were really getting the better of her. And I remember just how appreciative she was of life. I know she was appreciative to be the voice of such a legendary princess who went on to become so revered. I think every video game franchise, such as Kingdom Hearts, every doll line could not do without a Rapunzel line. Disney Infinity could not do without a Rapunzel live-action figure, which I have. Rapunzel has forever and always held a special place in my heart. And when the conversation comes up about Disney princesses, people will always choose Cinderella over Rapunzel. People will always choose Belle over Rapunzel. Rapunzel is never included in that conversation, sadly. But I think after the live-action Tangled happens and we see all these iconic scenes brought to life when she discovers the power behind the fireflies, discovers the outside world from outside of her tower, escapes the clutches of Mother Gothel, who I've often wondered is going to be played by what celebrity, I think that this is going to have a greater appreciation for what Rapunzel has meant to any Disney franchise and what she's meant to Disney princesses for forever. It's only now, in more recent years, she's being considered as a part of the original Disney princess lineup, which of course consists of Snow White, Aurora, Jasmine, and so on. Your obvious always come up in conversation from time to time. But I think after the live-action Tangled touches down and becomes a reality, I think Rapunzel is going to find her way in many more conversations for many years to come, and it will become a beloved and treasured classic from Disney's live-action franchise when we talk about them all for forever, because I think it's always been about Beauty and the Beast, and I remember the hype that went behind the premiere of Beauty and the Beast, the red carpet premiere, and how honored Emma Watson felt to play such an iconic princess, how honored Hailey Bailey felt to play Ariel, one of the most iconic Disney princesses of all time. It's always been about the same Disney princesses, but it's never been about the ones that oftentimes deserve more appreciation and more gratitude for how they brought franchises to life and what they meant to franchises. Forever and always, no matter how many times you choose to criticize Mandy Moore from the latter part of the 90s when her first song Candy premiered in 1999, the same year my first podcast premiered for the first time on radio, online, and nobody had known who I was for forever, and nobody was hearing my voice. I was talking about Mandy Moore and the Backstreet Boys, and I gave Mandy Moore the benefit of the doubt, and I chose to give Mandy Moore the benefit of the doubt because she still had a long way to go at that point. And man, did she ever come a long way. She went on to become one of the most iconic princesses in the history of Disney, and is forever and always known for that iconic voice being lent to the Rapunzel character, and really bringing her to life with a personality that was really second to none. So you've really got to have a second to none personality for a live-action princess, and I really don't think that Sabrina Carpenter has that personality. There's just something about Sabrina Carpenter's personality. Don't get me wrong. She's beautiful. She's overflowing with talent. She's incredibly mind-blowingly talented. But the thing is about Sabrina Carpenter's personality, it doesn't match her looks. Because with looks, you also have to have a mind-blowing personality. And I think just Ruby Rose Turner fits the criteria perfectly of what a live-action Rapunzel was truly meant to be. And if you were ever to envision a live-action Rapunzel, it would have to be Ruby Rose Turner. That's why forever and always, I will support Ruby being the live-action Rapunzel, and I will be the biggest Ruby Rose Turner fan in the world. There isn't a night that goes by, that passes by, that I wish Ruby Rose Turner was here to help me build game chairs, play video games with me, because there's just something about Ruby's personality, and that's the way I like to describe it, because she's never given the benefit of the doubt. More times than ever given credit for, Ruby's been reduced to tears because she's been turned down for roles that she probably should have been given. Her role on Orange is the New Black has often been criticized, but was one of her most revered. Her role in Descendants was very short-lived, but it was one of the best. And she ultimately became everybody's favorite character in Descendants. I remember how it happened because of how bubbly she was, and that bubblegum type song, Life is Sweeter When You Are, how it instantly got stuck on all of our heads. I'm really surprised I haven't received noise complaints from my neighbors because I play that song every day on my Bluetooth speaker, which occasionally you can catch me doing, because Life is Sweeter When You Are became one of the most revered Descendants songs off of any Descendants soundtrack, from the originals to the new songs. I know the score only had about 8 songs, but Life is Sweeter When You Are was one of the best and became one of my all-time favorites, and I must have listened to that song hundreds of times, if not thousands. I'm a sucker for that song because of how it represented kindness, and it really touched my heart in so many unbelievable ways. And I think that Ruby Rose Turner will touch my heart as a live-action Rapunzel. And let me just say this. If I can come out of support for Ruby Rose Turner, I will be there for Ruby Rose Turner, and I will fully support her as the live-action Rapunzel, because I think never nice things can be said about Ruby Rose Turner. And for sure, Tangled is going to be a victim of a lot of criticism. But even though Tangled was going to be a victim of a lot of criticism, I will come out of support of Ruby Rose Turner, and I will take bullets for Ruby every single time. I will take bullets for each and every one of you because you have deserved better reviews about Tangled. You have deserved better reviews of Descendants and Zombies. And I just wanted to be that guy to give it to you. Because I think if we're going to talk about Ruby Rose Turner, we should talk about her with prestige. We should talk about her with honor. Because I think never enough people go out of their way to talk about these Descendants and Zombie stars because they're jealous of them. And it has everything to do with jealousy. If people didn't say negative things about Descendants and Zombies, then the world wouldn't consist of jealous people. But there are more jealous people, far more jealous people in this world than ever given credit for. I just wish there were more people that would showcase Descendants and Zombies for its true worth and its true value and its powerful message. And every opportunity these stars have been extended since the profound success Descendants saw. I may be just saying this because I witnessed the rapid ascension of Descendants and Zombies and how popular it became and how revered it eventually went on to become. Because it touched the hearts of so many millions of people. And that had a lot to do with all the criticism that was being uploaded on IMDb and RottenTomatoes.com because people didn't want to have anything to do with a franchise they just couldn't make sense of. And that's where the criticism was derived from, was how it was a franchise they just couldn't make sense of or didn't want to make sense of. And I have always wanted to be here out of support of your favorite Descendants and Zombie stars. So be it that Ruby Rose Turner was one of your favorites, I'm trying to keep her memory alive. Even though her time with Descendants was very short-lived, I think we haven't seen the last of Ruby, and I think we should keep the door more widely open than ever before for Ruby to return to reprise her role. Because I think there's still so much more of a story for the Bridget character. Even if an opportunity doesn't exist for Ruby to be a part of the live-action Tangled, I will still remain hopeful for the foreseeable future because I think the conversation about Sabrina Carpenter has revolved around her a bit too much, and it's taking away from people like Ruby and Kylie who deserve more of an opportunity. Because Descendants and Zombies really is just the beginning for these stars. You can talk about Freya Sky as much as you want, but this is really just the beginning for Freya Sky, which makes me more excited for the foreseeable future than I've ever been excited for a future of anybody, because Freya is going to be something special, if not the next Disney pop star, something special beyond the expectations of everybody. And I'm just excited to witness it and be here for it to cover for you guys, because I'm going to be saying I told you so in about 5 years from now. I've had this ability to predict the future stars of the industry like Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande. I predicted they would be success stories years ago, ever since 2006, and boy was I ever right. And 5 years from now, I think I'm going to be telling you all I told you so about Freya Sky and Kylie Control, because they have it. And what it means, they have all the qualities of a Hannah Montana in the making. They have all the qualities of a Taylor Swift. They just had to be given more of a chance and shown the respect really they deserve. Because I think never enough respect is shown to these stars, and they still have a long way to go. That is undeniable, because they're just trying to figure out their place in the world. I mean, what do you know at just 20 years old? Kylie just turned 20 this past June. So she's just trying to figure out her life. And I think she is going to get to a point where she will figure out her desire in life and everything she wants to accomplish. And I want her to know that I will forever and always be here, fully supportive of whatever she chooses to do. Because I really do feel as if a lot of people have been criticizing Kylie Control and Ruby Rose Turner without any explanation, just simply because they want to, and that's what you're watching on YouTube. You guys have watched enough videos about criticism about your favorite stars and your favorite franchises, and it's about time somebody did them justice, and did you guys justice by honoring your favorite Descendants and Zombie stars. And that doesn't have to mean any criticism needs to be thrown your way. It just means more positive reviews need to be given to you, and the respect needs to be shown to your favorite Descendants and Zombie stars, because if you can come out at the Worlds Collide Tour out of support and love for your favorite stars, so too can the people who upload videos on YouTube. The reality of it is, I don't know what's going to happen from one moment to the next when you talk about a franchise like Disney or Nickelodeon, like each and every one of you. But that's why I'm a fan, because I don't know what's going to happen. If I knew what was going to happen, I would tell you, and I would be the first one to tell you, because I would be the most excited to compile a review on Disney's live-action Tangled. Right now, all it is are rumors, but apparently production has picked up again of the live-action Tangled after it reportedly had been put on hold because of Snow White's flop in the box office, and of course it had everything to do with Renee Zellweger's point of view being completely taken out of context and judged, and how Renee Zellweger's opinion on life was just misinterpreted. But I really do believe that when the live-action Tangled picks up production again, it's really going to build steam for the foreseeable future, and it's going to build up a credible response, which is what it needs, especially after how iconic Mandy Moore's portrayal of the animated Rapunzel became so revered, because she was a princess that touched so many people's hearts. People are even creating YouTube channels inspired off of Tangled and its profound success. I know because I've seen it. People who are the biggest Tangled fan in the world have subscribed to this YouTube channel, and I have never felt more honored to be in your guys' presence to talk about all your favorite stars and all your favorite franchises. Tangled, Phineas and Ferb, Descendants, Zombies. I just love keeping the conversation going. And I love being here for each and every one of you because I think there is no better way or more far effective way than honoring your favorite Descendants and Zombie stars the way they were meant to be honored. Because I really do believe Malachi Barton and Freya Skye have fabulous futures. It's just a matter of seeing how these futures will play out. Ultimately, that comes down to them and how much you love and support them. And from what I can gather from all my Freya Skye videos as recently I've uploaded on this YouTube channel, you guys really do love Freya Skye. So as long as you love Freya Skye and continue to support her, I will forever and always be here out of support of Freya Skye, because you guys deserve to hear better reviews about Freya. You've deserved to hear better reviews about Freya for a very long time, and I've just wanted to give them to you. So if you would be a dear and hit my subscribe button, I think we can have a lot of conversations for the foreseeable future. You guys will have something to look forward to on YouTube, because I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. As long as Descendants and Zombies exists in all of your hearts and you're so passionate about it, which I've seen and which I've loved to honor, I will always upload Descendants and Zombies videos for you guys because I've dedicated the rest of my life to talking about Descendants and Zombies. Because I think there's no better way than by showcasing your passion for the franchises you grew up with, the franchises you forever and always loved. And this really has been the greatest honor of my life, being able to be here to talk about Descendants and Zombies with each and every one of you into the foreseeable future. So if you are a fan of Tangled, who watched my video, who saw my thumbnail and gave me a chance by clicking on it, I just want to say from my heart to yours, thank you so much, because you could be watching a lot of reviews on the live-action Tangled, perhaps some fake trailers somebody uploaded 5 minutes ago, but you're watching this video, and that makes this the greatest honor of my life. This really has been the greatest honor of my life. The summer of 2025 will be a summer I will never forget because I got to talk about the Worlds Collide Tour. I got to offer you my predictions on Descendants 5 and my review of Zombie Spore Dawn of the Vampires, which, by the way, I was incredibly excited to offer you guys. An hour after Zombie Spore Dawn of the Vampires premiere, I was on YouTube posting a review about it because I was so excited to talk about it with each and every one of you about the futures of Malachi Barton and Freya Skye, which I think are going to be phenomenal and going to be an honor to be a part of. And I have never felt more honored to sit behind this podcast microphone and talk about your favorite franchises and the stars of these franchises that have done it with such credibility and such honor. Because I really do believe there is so much criticism directed towards Descendants and Zombies and its stars, and they have cried for far long enough. Kylie Control has wasted her tears for far long enough on everything, from her political point of view to her relationship going south. Who really cares? As long as Kylie Control has fun being lost in the moment with each and every one of you. As long as Freya Skye continues to have these breakdowns on stage because she's so thankful and never felt so honored to be in your guys' presence. Because just as much as you honor her, she honors you back, and the feeling is mutual. That's what made this summer so special for me, witnessing that with my own two eyes and watching the concert on YouTube played out the way it was, because it played out perfectly. And it sets up for a phenomenal future for all of these stars, past or present. Talking about Dove Cameron, Ruby Rose Turner is a conversation that can be endless, because the Descendants and Zombies franchises really do have a chance of lasting for forever. And lasting for forever and always and eternally, more importantly, inside of all of our hearts, because we feel so passionate about Tangled, we feel so passionate about Descendants and Zombies. And as long as we feel passionate about it, the conversation never has to end. And hopes and dreams can be kept alive for just a little while longer, just as sure as the moon is shining in through my window tonight on my final show before I sign off for the evening. I want you guys to know that your dreams are more realistic than ever before and become that much more of a realization than you ever thought possible, because your dream is that much closer to becoming a reality for you than you probably ever thought of. Just keep those hopes and dreams alive for a little while longer, and keep the hope and dreams and the passion alive about Descendants and Zombies for as long as you possibly want. Because I'm here to tell you guys that there's nothing wrong with ever being a fan of Descendants and Zombies and doing it with an open heart and an open mind, which many of you have done. At least 95% of the Descendants and Zombies universe have done this with an open heart and an open mind for what feels like forever, which makes this the greatest honor of my life, because I really do love honoring your favorite franchises and doing it with so much respect, because a lot of people don't do that. And I see that in these so-called reaction videos people upload about Zombies and Descendants all the time, but their favorite moments supposedly, or by ranking their favorite songs or their favorite moments. It's really ridiculous in these so-called reaction videos. So at least now you guys have something to look forward to when it comes to Descendants and Zombies and your favorite franchises like Rapunzel and Tangled and Phineas Phineas and Ferb and your favorite stars. I will have something up here for everybody because I really am the biggest Disney fan in the world. As you get from the description, you will walk away from these videos with a greater appreciation for Descendants and Disney likewise. And I will do you the honor of uploading you great videos if you trust in me, like Aladdin Asked Jasmine in the 1992 Aladdin Classic. That movie became so revered because all Aladdin ever wanted Jasmine to do was trust him when he looked at her and said, "Do you trust me?" And if you guys trust me, I will take you on a magic carpet ride through every generation of Disney and honor it the way it was meant to be honored for a very long time, because you guys will forever and always hold a special place in my heart for the outpouring of love and support that you've shown this YouTube channel. And I simply just want to say thank you so much. Guys, keep Descendants and Zombies alive in your heart for just a little while longer as we keep the conversation going on, heading into Descendants 5 Book of Wonderland's premiere next summer. It's going to be an exciting time, and there's never been a time more apparent to become a fan of Descendants and Zombies as it is now. And we will talk more about Descendants 5 Book of Wonderland's rumored release date tomorrow. We will talk more about Zombies 5 tomorrow as we keep the conversation going about everything Disney and Nickelodeon the way it was meant to be on the latest episode of Jonathan Clarke on YouTube, which you have been watching. And you can catch every morning between 8:35 and 9:05 a.m. as it's uploaded on YouTube periodically throughout the day. Subscribe if you haven't already, because you're really going to love this YouTube channel. I can promise you that, as I take you on a magic carpet ride for a greater appreciation for Descendants and Zombies and everything Disney and Nickelodeon related. Bye, YouTube. We will talk again in literally just a few hours from now.